Am I the a-hole for embarrassing my stepmother by telling our neighbor that her relationship is a product of an affair? My 16th female birthday is soon. I want to celebrate with my mom and siblings on the actual day, but my dad asked if I could come over to his place to celebrate my birthday, as well as his housewarming party. Anyway, I did not want to go. I'm not on good terms with my dad or his wife and new kids, but because of the custody arrangements, I have to spend some weekends with him. My stepmom is someone who is very eager to please everyone, and she loves to brag about her lifestyle. She just carries herself in an extremely condescending way. My parents divorced when I was 7 while my mom was going through chemotherapy for stage 3 breast cancer. My dad had an affair when my mom was in the hospital, and he said it was due to the stress of having to look after us, and that he needed some female comfort, whatever the heck that means. They tried to make things work after the affair, but they never could, since my dad wouldn't stop seeing my now stepmom, who was my mom's coworker. This was the biggest betrayal. My mom worked in a small business. Everyone was like family, and her co-workers visited us often and used to bring us goodie bags. My stepmom was one of them. They've been married for 9 years now, and I have never been able to have a relationship with them. So, during the housewarming event, one of the neighbors approached me and asked how I feel about having a stepmom and blended family. She was asking me because her daughter, who is in a similar age range to me, struggles with it. I just flat out told her that I don't view them as family because their affair broke any relationship. She was visibly shocked, and my stepmom turned bright red and started stuttering, saying that there was no overlap and that I was just young and confused. She proceeded to lock herself in her room crying, and when the party was over, my dad screamed at me, saying that I'm so hard to love and that I'm so bitter. I told him that I feel the same way. I tried to act like it didn't hurt me, but I'm so upset that my own father would say this to me. I always knew he loves his new family more than me, but I didn't expect him to say it outright. My stepmom said that if I come over, she would no longer spend weekends with him and would take the kids away. My dad is on the phone with my mom asking if it would be fine if I no longer come over. My stepmom is now refusing to leave the house, saying she's humiliated and can no longer show her face around the neighborhood, which is quite close-knit. So, do you guys think I'm the a-hole? I know what I did was wrong, but what they did was 100 times worse. Just looking for an objective opinion. Now for the top comments. Funny, I stuck by my wife with her stage 4 with 3 daughters, and never thought once about cheating. Sorry your dad is such a weak a-hole. How do people even have the energy to cheat in situations like this, let alone the inclination? He was presumed working full-time paying the bills and ferrying his wife back and forth for chemo and raising his 7-year-old daughter during such a traumatic time, and somehow found the energy to go and find a mistress? Wild. OP not the a-hole. My big sister used to look after me a lot of the time whilst my dad stayed out late. He was hardly looking after me, so I don't know why he claimed that he was so stressed. What a prick, no offense. At least it sounds like you have a great mom and she was successful in beating cancer. My mother also survived stage 4 cancer, and I remember my dad was always tired and always home just watching her sleep off the chemo when he could. Sending you good vibes. Not the a-hole. Your father is the a-hole. Who cheats on someone with cancer? And with someone in such close proximity? He didn't even have the decency, if you could call it that, to do his deed away from home. Not the a-hole, not the a-hole, not the a-hole. And I definitely would have told side piece mom to stop crying. She knew what she was doing. I can't believe your father would speak to you that way. You're a child at the end of the day. For him to tell you that you're hard to love and bitter is disgusting. I would tell him, I'm only a mirror of the love that you've shown me. Or something along those lines, just so he knows that as the adult, it's his responsibility to do the work in your relationship. It's not your responsibility to get your father to like you. It's your father's responsibility to earn back your trust and respect. I wish I could have said something similar to that, but in the moment, I was just so shocked. I thought that despite everything, he still loved me wholeheartedly, but I suppose not all parents love their kids. Next story. Am I the a-hole for embarrassing my stepmom at dinner after she tried to teach me a lesson about my real mom? I, 18 female, live with my dad and my stepmom, 43 female. My mom passed away when I was 10, and it's still a sensitive subject for me. My stepmom came into the picture a couple of years later, and while we're civil, we're definitely not close. She's always had this weird vibe, like she's trying to compete with my mom, even though my mom isn't here. She gets snippy when I talk about her, or wear anything that belonged to her, like my mom's old necklace I wear basically every day. Anyway, a few nights ago, we were out for dinner with my dad, stepmom, and her parents. Her mom asked about the necklace, and I said, "It was my mom's. She gave it to me before she passed. I wear it every day." Stepmom immediately cut in with, "Well, technically, I'm your mom now. I've done more mothering in the last 6 years than she did in 10. I swear the whole table went silent. I just laughed and said, "If you think being a mom is about trying to erase the actual one, then yeah, you've been amazing." She looked like she'd been slapped. Her mom gasped. My dad told me to apologize, but I refused. I said I was tired of her acting like my mom never existed, and I wasn't going to play along anymore. Now my stepmom is barely speaking to me, and my dad says I need to be the bigger person because she's just trying to connect. But to me, that didn't feel like connection. That felt like erasure. Am I the a-hole for calling her out in front of everyone? Not the a-hole, period. I don't even have anything else to say. How dare she say that to you? Appreciate it. I didn't expect her to go there either. Still trying to process it honestly. You need to secure everything your mother gave you. Seriously, leave nothing around that belonged to your mother and make sure everything is secured. If she is this insecure, I wouldn't put it past her to get rid of or damage anything you have. This includes photos. Have copies on your computer. Not the a-hole. She is the one who owes you an apology, and so does your dad. He should be sticking up for you. And your reply was perfect. Sometimes evil step-parents forget that children grow up to be adults who don't have to take their BS anymore. She just got a lesson in that. Good for you. Appreciate this. I think she expected me to just take it, but I'm not 15 anymore. If she wanted respect, she should have given it. And my dad really dropped the ball too by not stepping in. That might be the hardest part. Next story. Am I wrong for not taking in biological kid who I have never met before? I, 36 male, went to college on the West Coast. I had multiple casual girlfriend while I was attending school there, and I always used protection, and all of them were on birth control. My last girlfriend, Sophie, 35, and I broke up because I was moving for work, and we would have been in a long-distance relationship, which neither of us wanted. Going back to the present day, I moved to the Northeast, met the love of my life at 25, who was Kate, 34 female, and got married at 29. We had both always wanted children with a low wage gap, as we both had siblings close to our age, and we loved it. We currently have 2 kids, 3 females, and a 1-year-old son. Our life is going great. We're more than financially comfortable, and our kids are doing well. 2 months ago, I received a text message from someone who claimed to be Sophie, and she said that she had given birth to my child 13 years ago, and that she had received a terminal cancer diagnosis and wanted me to meet her. After explaining all of this to my wife and preparing, I flew there about a month ago. Unfortunately, Sophie passed soon after I got there. I did learn that Sophie had dropped out of school to take care of our kid, and that she was a single mom with no support system. My kid Amber, 13 female, was very stressed and sad after Sophie passed away, and I couldn't blame her, as I'd probably be freaking out if I were 13 and my mom had passed away and some random guy was claiming to be my dad. I took a paternity test, and I am indeed the father, and since she put me as the preferred guardian in the will, I am almost guaranteed custody if I try to get it. My wife and I have talked it over, and while she is conflicted too, she doesn't want to ditch a child in need of a home. She is also worried about neglecting our current kids, as Amber will require a lot of support since she would be uprooting her life if she came to live with us. Now I am conflicted, as I don't want to be the deadbeat father who abandons one of his kids, while I've also read some pretty bad stories of guys completely ditching their current kids to take care of kids they didn't know existed. Also, I would like to say that there's no family or friends who could take her in, as her mom went no contact with her family a long time ago and they moved around a lot, so there are no close enough friends who would take her in. All I know is that if it were me, I'd take my child in an instant and get her the resources she needs. Totally this. I know she's dead and had her reasons, but I'd also be kinda low-key angry at the mother for denying me the opportunity to spend time with a kid I never knew I had. Yes, and be angry. At the same time, the world has given you a gift of time with a daughter you didn't know you even had. I get the whole abandon the existing kids for the 13-year-old, because yeah, I'm sure if he opens his heart and takes her in, he will want to catch up. Honestly, they should find a counselor for the family, and OP doesn't need to catch up. That will come in time. Just help guide her through her mother's passing, answer the questions, and just be there. I mean, do you think you guys would realistically neglect your current children? Probably not, right? She doesn't have anyone else and she's all alone. Yes, there'd be an adjustment period, and sure, she may need some therapy. But you're worried about neglecting your other kids when you actually would straight up be neglecting one of them. I understand the situation is difficult, but you gotta be a man and a father and take responsibility. If you abandon her, how could you even face your other kids? No offense, but you and your wife are looking for excuses to not take her in. You're both worried you'll neglect your kids. She's your child too. Sorry it ruined your perfect family image, but she needs you. She has no other options. Do you really want your daughter to go into the foster system? If you do, you're the a-hole. Next story. Am I the a-hole for not giving my mom a grandmother experience with my baby? I, 27 female, had my first baby 6 months ago, and my mom, 52 female, has been over the top obsessed with being a grandmother. I expected her to be excited, but I didn't realize she saw this as her big life event. Before my son was even born, she started acting like she was gearing up to raise him alongside me. She set up a full nursery at her house, kept talking about all the weekends he'd be spending with her, and told me she planned to be there for all the firsts. It was weird, but I brushed it off as excitement. Then he was born, and it got worse. She constantly criticizes everything I do. If I let him nap in my arms, I'm spoiling him. If I don't bring him over enough, I'm keeping him from her. She started showing up unannounced, and if I don't let her take the baby alone, she acts hurt like I don't trust her. The final straw was last week at a family gathering. I was holding my son when she suddenly reached for him and tried to take him out of my arms, saying I needed a break. I pulled back and told her, I don't need a break, Mom. I've got it. She looked stunned and barely spoke to me for the rest of the night. Later, she sent me this long message about how I'm denying her the grandmother experience and treating her like a stranger. Now my dad and siblings are saying I should let her be more involved because she just loves him so much. I don't want to shut her out, but I also don't want to feel like I have to share my baby and be constantly criticized. Am I being too harsh? Oof, no. She has this imaginary vision of what being a grandma is, and she will take anything from you to get it. Listen to your internal voice and tell her no. Yes, and I just don't feel comfortable with it. I obviously don't want to stop her from being a grandma and seeing the baby, but she's weirdly possessive of him. Listen to that instinct you have. It's weird. You are the mom. That's actually more important than whatever she thinks a grandmotherly role is. I understand she wants to be a part of his life, which is great, but she needs to understand you need time with him yourself to learn and parent in your own way. Without having her constantly giving suggestions, everyone's parenting is different. She needs to let you breathe a bit. She can still be in his life without acting like his mother, though that's your job. Yes, that is another thing. I appreciate her looking out for me, but I also want to figure these things out for myself. That's part of being a parent. And what if one day she is not around? Last story. Am I the a-hole for kicking my sister out after she refused to follow one simple rule? So a few weeks ago, my younger sister Emily, 26 female, asked if she could stay at my house for a while. She was going through a rough patch, bad breakup, lost her job, the usual. I, 30 male, live alone in a nice house with my dog, Baxter, a big, friendly Labrador, who's basically my kid. I told Emily she could stay as long as she needed, but I had one rule: do not leave doors open. Ever. Baxter is well trained, but he's an escape artist. If he sees an open door, he's gone. He doesn't run away permanently, but he'll sprint out into the neighborhood, and I have to chase him down. It's a hassle, and I've had to get him from random backyards more times than I can count. I made it clear to Emily, close the door, every time, no exceptions. She laughed it off, said, yeah, I got it, and moved in. Fast forward 2 days later, I come home from work and yep, the front door is wide open. No Emily in sight, no Baxter. I freak out, grab his leash, and spend over an hour running around the neighborhood like a lunatic, calling his name. Turns out some random guy a few streets over had grabbed him before he could run into traffic. Thankfully, Baxter was fine, but I was furious. I get home and Emily is just chilling on the couch. I ask her what happened, and she shrugs and says, "Oh yeah, I guess I forgot to close it." I lost it. I reminded her that I had one rule, and that she put my dog in danger. She rolled her eyes and said, "Relax, he's fine. It's not that serious." I told her if she couldn't respect something this basic, she needed to find somewhere else to stay. She got all defensive, saying I was being dramatic over a dog and that she had nowhere else to go. I stood my ground. Now she's staying with a friend, and our parents are mad at me, saying I overreacted and chose a dog over family. Some friends agree, saying it was a simple mistake. But I don't think forgetting once is an excuse when I made it so clear how important it was. Am I the a-hole? In what wackadoodle world is leaving the front door wide open a simple mistake? Unless she has a single-digit IQ, closing the outside door when you enter the home is automatic. Her response should have been to get her butt off the couch and frantically help you search for the dog, instead of basically saying, "Oh well, not the a-hole." But you could also tell your parents. Emily chose being lazy over getting to stay at my house. Choices have consequences. It's about respect and responsibility, really. She knew the rule, ignored it, and put my dog in danger. Had to hold her accountable. She's probably got some dumb, immature defiance issue. If OP had never said anything about the door, then everything would be fine. But because he dared to tell her what to do, she's going to leave the door open on purpose to show him. Oh no, now he's all stressed out because the dog got out. Well, that's what he gets for being a prick and bossing her around like a child. Who cares that he's upset? It all worked out in the end. The dog is fine, and OP learned his lesson. I've known a few people like this. They honestly probably have a form of ODD. Whether nature or nurture, I'm not sure, but they tend to be the same type of person and have a similar upbringing and education level.